As with any modern city, inner-city transportation in Shanghai comes in a variety of forms. Getting around Shanghai by taxi is easier and more efficient than it can be in other large cities in China. There are more than 50,000 taxis in Shanghai. And while that's a lot, bear in mind that locals are often booking taxis in advance with apps, especially around peak commuting hours. From 5 a.m. to 11 p.m., fares start at 14 RMB. From 11 p.m. onwards, they start at 18 RMB. Outbound from your hotel is unlikely to be a problem. But depending on the time of day, the weather, and where you are, coming back could be a challenge. More of a novelty than a key transportation tool, the maglev is one ride you'll definitely want to take while you're in Shanghai, if only to say that you did. The world's first commercially operated magnetic levitation train can reach speeds of over 430 kilometers per hour. It's a short run, only 30 kilometers, but you'll hurtle along those 30 kilometers in just over 7 minutes.
在上海，可能出行最方便的方式就是乘搭地铁。
All in all, perhaps the best way to get around Shanghai is the metro. The subway network extends from Pudong to Minhang district and all the way out to Kunshan in Jiangsu province. You can make it even easier to use by buying a prepaid card with enough credit to cover metro travel during your stay.
游览上海呢，有很多种方式，其中最拉风的就是乘搭这辆酷炫的摩托车。
The maglev might be the most modern way to get around Shanghai, and the subway the most social, but we're sure that the most enjoyable and interesting way to see the city is in the sidecar or on the rear saddle of one of these awesome antique motorcycles. Now, there's no connection between Insider TV and Insider's Experience custom tours, but it's a fun coincidence. And fun is unquestionably one of the words we'd use to describe their guided tours off the beaten track. Your visit to Shanghai will be incomplete without this true insider's experience. And if you're a photographer or videographer, you cannot not take their rides on the wild side.
The world is your playground. Discover it with Insider TV. From Shanghai to Singapore, KL to Queenstown, explore the best cities in Asia Pacific and beyond with the world's best insider's guide. When you travel, travel with Insider TV.
Admiring the historical and colonial architecture of the city is one great way to connect with Old Shanghai. But Old Shanghai is in fact much older than any of these buildings. Human beings have been living in Shanghai for over 7,000 years. Where exactly? The first settlements were down by the Suzhou Creek in the north of the city. Shanghai didn't become a city proper until the 1400s. And it wasn't until the late 17th century, towards the end of the Qing dynasty, that the city was an economic rival to nearby Suzhou in Jiangsu province. In fact, it's only in the middle of the 19th century that we begin to see clearly the most distinctive features of this amazing metropolis taking shape. These formative years of the Paris of the East, the 2 or 3 generations when East and West mixed most dynamically here, resulted in some of the world's best Art Deco architecture and some of the city's most beloved and remarkable buildings. The nitty-gritty of the historical context aside, the buildings still loved and lived in and used today in the French concession and along and behind the Bund are very much worth a visit and worth exploring.
Shanghai was formed, around trade when China opened up to the rest of the world, and Shanghai was one of the first beneficiaries of that trade. And On the west side of the bund, all of that was built around the wealth that was generated around then. That was the past. The east side of the river is the future with the new financial district. Along the 1920s, the city became an international city. You begin to see a lot of these buildings being built. So you have some of the finest examples of Art Deco and Art Nouveau in Shanghai. So you can look at the exterior of the structures and see one story, but then really you have to go inside of them, where you see all of the elegant terrazzo floors and some of the bas-reliefs telling the stories of the time. The city had planned 3 signature towers for the Bund and for the Lucas Way district. The first building being the Jianmao Tower. Second building being the Mori Tower, and the final structure in the trio of buildings is the Shanghai Tower, which is our project. The most interesting thing to note is that 20 years ago, there was nothing here. So I think that's what a lot of this represents, the sort of the Shanghai's Wall Street.
那上海是个大都市，无论你想买到什么样的东西，都可以在这里发现。比如我身边的这个跳蚤市场，它每周6、周日都会出现在这里。
If shopping is on your agenda, you've certainly come to the right city. Between Pudong and Puxi, there are dozens of shopping centers, scores of specialty markets, and thousands, that's thousands of small shops and boutiques.
你好，你好，你好。
我要来找你们。
好久不见。
我这次想纹一个这个草莓蛋糕。
这是新东西吗？
对，这是我们店里的一个招牌，我做了3年的一个招牌。
我觉得他是一个比较热爱生活的，热爱生活嘛，可能喜欢这种丰富多彩一点的东西，所以说在这个颜色呀、色彩取向上面，尽量让它更丰富一些。
之前也是纹了一个纸杯蛋糕，然后还有我一个简姐，就是简称嘛，加上 QM 设计了一个笑脸，然后上面写的是 Life is sweet， 就是做蛋糕是个甜蜜的事情。啊，这里好看。我觉得纹身很漂亮，做蛋糕的人都会特别喜欢一些美丽的东西。
这些年的客人呢，都是他们就是越来越想要表达自己的东西，他们会告诉你他们自己需要什么，然后他们带着想法来，我们要把他们具体化的呈现出来。刺青这种形式也是艺术啦，但是说它是人对人的一个艺术形式。
喜欢，感觉越来越漂亮了，纹的。那我先走啦，谢谢啊，下次见。
上海是个繁华的大都市，这里汇集了来自全世界各地的美食，应有尽有。无论你想吃什么口味、什么时间，都可以找到。
There are nearly 60,000 restaurants in Shanghai. 60,000! And that's not including the innumerable street vendors and food stalls too small to count as restaurants, but very often are serving food every bit as delicious. If it's cooked, rest assured that it is cooked somewhere in the city, a city which loves to dine and loves to eat. 10 of China's regional cuisines and a dozen or so international cuisines have found very happy homes here in Shanghai.
这栋建筑的话是你可以看到这个装修的话是非常30年代，而且这个建筑历史的话是孔祥熙的故居跟他夫人苏满的故居，是1926年左右前后建的，然后是黄浦区26栋这个历史保护建筑之一的这么一个建筑。我觉得这个建筑本身就是赋予了这个一个上海一个文化底蕴在，就是说不管是中国人来也好，外国朋友来也好，都可以领悟到我们中国的这种精髓。就在这里边吃饭的话，就是一场文化底蕴和一种美食的一种完美交融吧，可以这么去理解。
我今天为大家做一道，就是在我们淮扬菜里边有一道非常著名的菜叫粉烤回鱼。回鱼呢，它也是洄游的，洄游动物。每年的2、3月份洄游到长江中下游，以后呢，而是在我们那里有盛产那个竹子，2样的食材都是非常新鲜的东西。